at the last Orchid Society meeting, um, someone gave me two Dendrobium nobile kikis. This is a yellowbird canary, and it was potted up in bark. And I thought, hey, I really don't want bark. I think I'm going to repot it in moss. And I went to go do that today. It's about a week later. And when I took the plants out of the moss, I found mealybugs. So I'm holding it right here so you can see the mealybugs. That's mealybugs. Mealybugs on this, possibly also some scale or immature mealybugs. It's hard to tell. It's very light. But those little light green things could just be immature mealybugs. And let's see, it's on the other kiki as well. So I wanted to share this before I went to repot, so that people could see what mealybugs look like on an orchid. So actually, I'm gonna say mealybugs and immature scale. I'm on a second look. The stuff on the side right here is definitely looking like hard-shelled scale that's just not mature yet. So step one for me is always mechanical removal. I always like to mechanically remove as much as possible of any kind of insect with my toothbrush. Put it over there, and water. So, I'm going to rinse, and then I'm going to brush everything with the toothbrush, because really, mechanical removal means that I get rid of it. I'm using no insecticide. And while I'm not against the systemic, this is the easiest way to make sure that I'm getting as much of the infestation as possible. Because it's a double whammy. It's insecticide first, and then after that, it's the mechanical removal, and then the second step is the insecticide to get everything that I missed with mechanical removal. So, I just used the toothbrush. I have the scale. You can see it's here. It's white. And I just scrub right over the plant, getting off every bit that I can find. Pressure. I saw it down along the stem. I'm just going to get it all along the stem. And if you can hear other things going, washing dishes too, some dishwashers running. But once I saw the scale, I just couldn't leave it until tomorrow. It's coming off tonight. Now, the mealybug is problematic because they like to get down into the media. A lot of this moss is really stuck to this stuff. Try to flush it all out. There's one piece. Peel things back. Peel it back, make sure I get it all. Look in the interstices down in here. A lot of that scale that we saw was immature, which is why it was really blending in very well with the leaf color. It's easier to see scale once it's older, but that was fairly immature scale, and it's also harder to get immature scale off because it's softer. And so you really need the mechanical force of the brush to help everything off. And I'm also getting older. It's harder to see those tiny little scales. So this way I know I can just get full coverage on the entire plant. I don't have to see that well. When cleaning the orchid, if it's got like old papery skin, you really want to peel it off. I can't really do it one-handed, but you can see I peel it off on the lower ones, and then you want to scrub underneath, especially with scale. It is really easy for scale to get in between this old I don't know, papery skin is what I call it. I'm not sure what the real term for it is. And the stem of the plant. And in fact, I had one that was still attached to a leaf, but it was attached very loosely. And when I pulled it back, it was just chock full of juvenile scale. So you're going to really want to take all these off. I've already done it on the other piece right here, so you can see it's all shiny and green. I've taken all the old paper off and I've scrubbed underneath to get rid of all the scale. And you can see there's some bumps on the side there, and at this point in time, given the lighting, I'm not going to be able to tell if those are nodes that might burst out or scale that's on tighter than I can scrub off. So tomorrow I will be treating this with insecticide. So I am going to treat with a systemic called imidacloprid, which is, you can see that a very low concentration in this. Imidacloprid is a neonicotinoid insecticide. It inhibits a receptor in the neurons of insects. Actually, people have it too, but it's a slightly different receptor in insects, those same class. So humans have it too. So this stuff could be toxic to humans. It's toxic to insects, and if you're wondering, it is toxic to bees. So if you hear about neonicotinoids causing bee death, imidacloprid is one of those. Because it causes bee death, I'm very careful about how I use it. I try to not use it outside. So this is my choice to use in the winter inside. It's supposedly safe for pets, but again, I am going to use it very close to my infected Dendrobium kikis right here. And the other thing is that this is a spray. It's been liquefied and it's in a spray, and I'm going to spray it really close. I like to switch this with a different insecticide. It's actually a different neonicotinoid in the summer that I use outside at a higher concentration. But with that, I don't aerosol it. I don't want to kill all the bees within 10 miles of my house. So with that one, I actually put it into a liquid, and then I very gently coat my plants with it. And I do it on a day where there's no wind. So that's a systemic that I use, and I use a systemic because I've really found that for all sap-sucking insects, for which neonicotinoids work very, very well, that the other types of treatments, oil, isopropyl alcohol, they can keep the infestation at bay, but they don't eliminate the pest. So you can see this plant has been sprayed. I'm going to wash my hands afterwards so I can make sure I don't absorb any insecticide myself. Or you could wear gloves. I didn't wear gloves. And I basically tried to make sure that the insecticide gets into the interstices between the leaves and the stem, which is where I know that the mealybugs and the juvenile scale like to hang out. And I've also sprayed the underside of the leaves because that's another place they like to hang out. And you saw when I was washing it yesterday, I was scrubbing down the leaves to try to make sure that I got everything, and I was scrubbing both sides. So this is how I treat plants where I find mealybugs and scale.